Yeehaw! It's time for the Texans Squad, sponsored by Gametime. Everything Houston Texans, every week. Bringing you the big hits, game-changing plays, and all the action straight from the Lone Star State. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Saddle up and squad up. It's the Texans Squad show, starting now.
And it's the full squad on a Saturday as we are recapping the Houston Texans preseason victory. First victory of 2025 today. As they take down the Carolina Panthers 20-3 on their way to the Super Bowl, of course, with this victory. No, I'm kidding. We'll get into all of it today. I'm Michael Connor, Wade Smith, Stan Norfleet, John Hickman. Like I mentioned, the whole crew is here together today. It's exciting to have all of you here. Guys, obviously this is Wade and I were on here first, and he said it when we were starting, the dress rehearsal for the Texans, because we're probably not, I shouldn't say we're not going to see the starters again after today. We got them for 2 series today, and that's the thing that we wanted to see the most, the offense. First drive, quick 3 and out. Second drive, pounded down the field. I think it was 11 plays, end up with a 4th down conversion from Nico Collins for the touchdown there in the corner on a good route, good throw from C.J. Stroud. What did we think of what we saw out of Nick Caley and the offense that he called out there today with his starters in that first 2 drives? Wade, we start with you today.
I love the mix, man. I love the mix of being able to run the ball downhill. Nick Chubb did a good job of getting productive runs, 3-4 yards a pop. The next short passing game to Christian Kirk. Of course, Nico Collins finishes his drive with a touchdown catch. After it would have been Dare Ogunbowale with a touchdown pass, but the ball got batted down in the line of scrimmage. But it was a methodical drive, like you said, 11 plays. That's what you want to see. It was the dress rehearsal week. They prepared this entire week like it was a regular season game. And so you saw that first group, C.J. Stroud out there for the first 2 series, and he was productive. Like I said, 3 and out on the first drive, but on that second drive, they moved the ball effectively. And I like what I saw of the Texans offense.
Absolutely. I'm going to build off of that and say, that second drive was really kicked off by how good of a job Nick Chubb did on the ground. There was not a run under 4 yards. He accounted for 23 yards rushing the ball on that drive, and that allowed for Houston to kind of dictate the pressure that they wanted to bring to the defense. And I thought that was really good. And also, I got to shout out the inside offensive line, the center and the guards. They did a very good job. I was very impressed by the job that Jake Andrews, Stan. Yeah, I see that. You see that. I see your face. You know I was going to bring it up, but I thought that Jake Andrews and his battles with Derrick Brown, listen here, zeros across the board for Derrick Brown. Granted, he didn't play the full game, but I think that's probably one of the biggest takeaways, just how reliable that Jake Andrews has been for Houston since being inserted as a starting center for this offensive line.
I think you boys just about covered it in terms of those first 2 drives. I think I'll just try and kind of fill in a few blanks if I could. With Titus Howard not going today, he gets a veteran day off. Blake Fisher had every opportunity to show us if he was up to the call. Wasn't bad, did get nicked up a little bit, got inside the blue tent, came off, and that was essentially his day. But I'm not going to say it was good enough to make us feel like, okay, he can be in the mix in terms of that starting right tackle. But it was good to see him out there and get another opportunity to go with the ones because it's been a while. You mentioned the quick passing game. I like what I saw from Christian Kirk. Wade started us off with that. And I thought, and I texted it or put it out there on social media rather on x.com in real time. It was good to see CJ's energy today. I thought felt more like 2023 CJ.
A little bit more swaggy.
Yeah, definitely more swarm-like from an offensive standpoint, capping off that 11-play, 60-yard drive, the 4th and 5 down there in the red area, putting the finishing touches, putting the ball right where it needs to be on the little flat route or the out right there to the pylon for Nico to score. Big ball, big catch, 14-yard catch. Biggest play on the day, at least from C.J. Stroud, the 14 yards to Jaden Higgins there to get him in the mix. So I thought the offense, outside of that first 3 and out, y'all should have seen my face off the rip. Oh, no. That's a bad Carolina football team, but they got it in gear, and lo and behold, they scored it, and D'Amico called them off after that.
Yeah, the offense today, I don't know about you guys, you mentioned it there. Christian Kirk had a couple of grabs on it. it felt like a little bit, we've heard so much of the links of Caley back to his days with New England or whatever. I think we got our first taste of it, right? It's going to be pick and pop, right? It's not. I know that they tried to push it down the field to Nico on the first drive. CJ missed that throw by a mile. I think he was obviously looking for Nico to be closer to the sideline, but he's not catching that ball even if he's by the sideline. You guys get that feel that this is actually what we're going to see. We're going to see that offense that's got in mind of getting the ball out quick and just kind of dinking and dunking it down the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for a team that's, they don't have a top offensive line. And, I thought the offensive line performed well this week. They did a great job, at least from the starting perspective last week. I think it'd be smart for them to utilize the weapons that they have in living underneath. And what I like to call underneath is 10 and under. That will allow for an offense to sustain drives. That was an issue last year for Houston. They were 8th in the NFL in punts per game. So now when you look at Nick Haley's approach, man, I look at it like let's keep being alive. Let's not find ourselves in dead waters or dead situations. And again, when you look at the score from last week, you look at the score from the first drive of this week, they did a very good job of running the ball to allow for those second and third downs to be manageable, open up the playbook, but also Christian Kirk just continues to show his value and what he can be as a reliable weapon underneath as well, 10 and under. So I think that we're going to see that, but it all will be kind of predicated on how well they run the ball. And I just want to say that when I'm wrong, I love to be wrong. Nick Chubb, throughout this week, you guys heard me talk about it. I don't think he didn't show to be the best option for RB2. I'm shutting up now. He did a very good job today, and I want to show him some love because when I'm wrong, I like to be wrong, and I was wrong on that.
Wait, what did you think of that dink and dunk?
I don't mind it at all, especially when you got receivers that are stronger guys. Nico Collins is one of the better run-after-the-catch guys in the league. Noel, strong guy. Kirk is a veteran, crafty guy, shifty, that can make a guy miss or just continue to fall forward. So those 2 or 3 5-yard catches turn into 7, 8-yard gains. And you're going to continue to move the ball doing that. And then they also, as the game went on, I think they did a good job with the short screen game and getting productive plays out of that. It looked really good last week, and that they continue to do that this week. So if that can be a consistent part of their offense, that they're able to throw a quick screen out there and offensive linemen are getting downfield, making blocks, that's something that you can slow defenses down and take advantage of them, and you're not holding the ball. And Stan mentioned earlier that CJ played with more of that swagger today. Well, I think part of that's because he didn't get touched. And last year he didn't really have many games where you can say that he didn't get touched. He got beat up a lot last year. That could take some of that swagger out of you. And so if he continue to play games clean, he didn't get touched today. He overthrew. Like I mentioned on the first drive, he overthrew Nico Collins, but that he was routed up. He was open. So CJ's not going to just continually miss guys when he's standing back there in the pocket. He's not getting hit. So that bodes well for what the offensive line did up front, and it bodes well for the offense overall because CJ's an accurate guy. He's going to be able to find those guys on a consistent basis, and they're going to move the ball.
Stan, how you feeling about your guy, Nick Caley? We know that you're a big Nick Caley guy.
Well, I was the big Nick has to show me, and he still does. But through 2 games, he's off to a good start. Now, we would have said the same thing about Bobby Slowick in 2023, and we saw how that ended. So let's be patient, and let's the voice of reason here. That's why I'm on the program. Let's be careful and work our way throughout the course of this season. But, no, they have to feel good. Again, Nick Chubb, and I don't know that I'm seeing – running back 2, I still would like to see a healthy Dameon Pierce in this offense. We didn't get a chance to see that again today. But Nick Chubb certainly looked today. If the 53 had to come out, guys, after today, Nick Chubb, I think, would be on it. I have him making the roster. I have them keeping 5 running backs. I want to come back to also what Wade made reference to in the screen game. It's clear, and we said that going in. Like, look at early Tom Brady, 2001, 2, 3. This was a lot of dink and dunk. This was a lot of tight end involvement. This was a heavy dose of the run game, special teams, don't turn the ball over, high completion throws. C.J. Stroud, 75% today from a completion percentage. I think a passer rating of 127.1. So fantastic job by Caley, the offensive line. But what does the screen game do? It negates that pass rush. Whenever you see those defenders coming, putting that back foot in the ground, as Wade knows, and they're coming down screaming with their ears pinned back, draw screen reverse, DSR, that draw screen reverse action, you have to be able to give them something else to think about. In today's NFL, in today's football. Get the ball on the perimeter in the hands of guys that are freakish and can do something with the football, like a Nico Collins, a Christian Kirk, a Jaden Higgins by athletic profile. The only other thing that I took note of from a question, and I'll get to something else down the road here. I'm looking just from the first quarter, which is where all of the starters essentially played. Not a single tight end with a target. No tight ends targeted. And then it makes me wonder what was happening with the chemistry and the play calling from getting the tight end involved. We know obviously Brevin isn't there, but did y'all notice that early on with CJ the tight ends not being involved? Deal, no deal? What y'all thinking?
They didn't get a target, but how important were they on opening up some of them running lanes? Okay, we can't forget about that.
And then mixing it up.
Yeah, so I mean. No Dalton Schultz, clear tight end one. Other guys got to find opportunities and expand on their role when they get their chance. But that's in terms of the passing game. This is a team, again, that wants to run the ball. And I thought that everybody that was on their line of scrimmage, I mean, all around, honestly, they did a very good job blocking. We talked about the offense a lot here. I know we got to go to a break soon, but defensively, that linebacker room is crowded, but in a good way. It's full of depth. And I was impressed by Henry T's in his opportunities, but Azeez and EJ Speed, and that's without even mentioning Christian Harris, who I think Houston is just going to really kind of work him. He ain't going to play next week, work him back. EJ Speed, Stan, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. EJ Speed and Azeez.
Like my boy. Yeah.
Speed, listen, one thing I like about Speed is just how he processes, reads, and react to running downhill to make a tackle, right? So I was, continue to be impressed by that. I thought Henry T looked good out there in his moments, tackling and, of course, dropping back in coverage. But I really do want to highlight the depth that they have at that linebacker position, because that's going to be something that I think D'Amico and Matt Burke can get real freaky with out on that field, especially when you get Christian Harris back in the mix.
Yeah, I think that we'll get more into that defense here in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to get to one more thing before we got to into this first little segment. You guys talked a little bit about CJ, and I don't just me asking if you guys see anything. I know that we've heard a lot about the shoulder. Do you see anything that when you watch him that says shoulder's bothering him at all? Wade?
I didn't notice anything.
Okay,
to me, he still looks like the same guy that he was 2 years ago. I think he looks better than he looked last year, just from the confidence angle. Like, I think he feels more protected out there. What I saw up front, they kept him clean, and he didn't have happy feet, and that's the main thing. You don't want a guy to get gun shy and seeing ghosts and happy feet in the pocket, because he's getting hit from all different angles and hit from spots where he should get hit from. He hasn't had to deal with that. And so I haven't seen him throw the ball and it looks like he's laboring, or it looks like he's in pain or wincing, anything like that. He looks like he's fine. And so that's the number one key with this offense, to keep him healthy. Although they got a lot of other pieces that are going to help the offense be effective, he's the guy that makes the thing go. And so I think he's fine.
Stan, you had some alarm bells go off when all that shoulder stuff had been going on. We talked quite a bit about that on the early shows. Did it ease your mind at all today watching him throw the football?
It's just something. He's played with it throughout his career. So we've seen him fight through it. Ohio State he did. Since he's been in Houston, he has. So it's just something to keep an eye on. They kept trying to tell us nothing to see here, and I wasn't buying that. Way we know teams lie all the time. So I was never buying any of that. CJ's just going to be fine. I do want to just pontificate real quick on third down. Jumped out to me as well. We know they went 3 and out on that first possession. They were 1 for 3 for 33% on third down. We know that the fourth down was a touchdown to Nico, but specifically on third down, I was happy to see them cash in on the red zone, by the way. The Texans were 28th in red zone offense a year ago. So I'm going to continue as we all will to monitor how do they capitalize touchdown percentage-wise, taking care and putting the ball in the big rectangle where Kaimi can stay seated over there on the side until it's extra point time. But on third down today, 33%. The Texans last year were 17th at 38%. I got to believe Nick Caley's going to circle that when they break down this tape tomorrow, Wade, and they're going to go back and look at what happened on third down, specifically on that first series, and then what happened when we started getting into that second series. So I just wanted to bring third down to the offensive conversation.
Yeah, I say on both of those counts. The first one, CJ errant pass. The second one, CJ's got to navigate the defensive lineman and make sure that he gets the ball to the wide open running back in the backfield. And so those both were on CJ. But the good thing about it, he played the next play and he finds Nico Collins for a touchdown. So, third downs are always important. But at the same time, especially if D'Amico's going to be aggressive and he's going to give guys an extra down to convert, I'd be interested to see how much that happens going forward this season. But D'Amico strikes me as a guy I think he would be willing to do that more often than not, especially with how things are looking with offensive line and up front. I think he's gaining confidence in those guys and what they're
and that defense to back him up. You feel a lot better going for it when you got a defense like that. Mike, I know you want to get to those guys, so we talk about the other side of the ball as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that defensive side of the football today. It was not just a dress rehearsal for the offense, but we'll get to them here as well in a second on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. All right, let's talk money right now. Everybody loves money. And, well, most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all of your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL. Squad Show continues as we're breaking down the Texans' first preseason victory over the Carolina Panthers today, 20-3. Their only preseason game at home, by the way. They're back out on the road to finish off the preseason, which I guess stinks for the fans, but it wasn't like it was a huge crowd today. It's a preseason game.
I've been waiting to talk to you about this, Stan. I want to bring that up to you, man. Are you pointed in the fans today, or are you looking at it like
a preseason game?
Stan don't care.
No, they get a pass today.
They get a pass for preseason? Okay.
You get a pass today because it's preseason. Now, notice we're going to see the bulk of the starters. So, again, only preseason. I'm going to encourage folks to get out there. I don't know. Are the Stros at home? I know they're getting ready to go. Are they at home?
Yeah, they're at home. They're playing tonight.
All right, so I'm going to give people a pass to make it on their way over there to the juice box. Well, it's not the juice box no more. Damn. But you know what I mean. Like, all right. Now, that Monday night, that whiteout when Tampa come to town, John,
they need to be at
you know what I'm going to say?
Wait,
I can't stand
it's going to be full.
But this is the problem, though. They're there. They just have in the parking lot. They parking lot.
Wrap that damn brisket up in foil and let's go. We got to
wait. Did you guys notice that as players during your days, how slow it was sometimes for the people to get in there?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember it being like that back when I played.
I don't think it was.
Wait, you were with from, was it 2010, 2013?
Yeah, it was a different vibe back then.
Man, y'all had the stadium rocking.
Yeah, it was the first time the team really being good back then, and so everybody was like in there. So it really wasn't like that. I didn't really experience that firsthand. But I get it. I've seen the other side of it now. And I've been out there for tailgates, so I understand why fans be like slowly, methodically moving their way into the stadium because it's a good time out there in that parking lot. So I get it. But like you said, Monday night,
you got to be in the stadium.
You got to be in there early and show out because everybody's watching.
Yeah, CJ said early on, coming from Ohio State, CJ was like, "Man, what's going on? I don't understand what this fashionably late. Like I'm used to the horseshoe where we get busy." And so it took him a minute, and then he was very complimentary. CJ has been of both playoff games in the wild card round. So Texas fans know how to bring it. Wrap the brisket, put the rest of that stuff on ice, put the cork in that other thing, that LeBron water. Let's get in here, man. These guys, Wade can tell you, when you work your arse off all week, you want to come out there and get this thing, have the right energy. So this offense is gonna need it. The defense, not so much.
Not so much.
Defense came out today, and they looked pretty darn good, guys. Basically, what we expected them to be, right? From the pass rush to the defensive backs, John, you already mentioned the linebacking core. I mean, I don't know if there's anything bad to say about anything that happened defensively today. Am I wrong?
Maybe a little shakiness from their who's going to be, CB3, CB4, CB5, the backups. But I thought Jalen Smith responded well. Shout out to Jonathan Alexander, the Houston Chronicle, who pointed out I was out there. Xavier Legette got the best of Smith in joint practice this week. Smith responds with an interception return for about 16 yards. I was very impressed by him simply because of what he's doing as an outside cornerback. Defensively, you go out there and you hold a team, albeit preseason and going up against a lot of guys that are trying to fight for a roster spot, 1 of 10 on third down, 3.7 yards per pass. You also look at 3.4 yards per rush. Guys are still fighting for a job, so still man on man. I was impressed how Houston got up off the field throughout the game. 1 of 10 on third down is absolutely the number or stat that people should be recognizing and being happy about.
Yeah, I tell you what, the thing that I noticed, first play of the game, Stingley gets an interception. It gets called back because Will Anderson he picked on a grown man for the first half of the play, and then at the time it was to stop picking on him and let him go. He didn't let him go. He went on and pulled him down. So it was a legit holding penalty. But then the next play, they just go on and get a 3 and out. They get that 5-yard penalty on the defensive holding, and then it's a 3 and out. And on the third down, you get the sack, and the sack is because you're only rushing 4. I think they protected with 6, but Daniil Hunter had a hell of a spin move that took 2 guys out. Will Anderson beat his guy, flushed the quarterback out, and then of course Mario Edwards comes and cleans it up. Like, if they can consistently do that, and that's the expectation, that they will consistently get pressure from
on a 4-man rush. Yeah,
it's going to be hell to pay, because think about who the DBs are for this team. Like, if you got that front 4 rushing like that, and then you got the coverage that you got behind it, you see, I mean, it's gonna be very difficult to make a lot of plays against this Texans defense. And the cool thing about watching the defense, you talked about them 1 for 10 on third downs all game long. They do an excellent job of keeping the ball in front of them. They do an excellent job of playing with leverage. They do an excellent job of swarming to the ball. I see that, and I say they have bought into and they live by and die by what the philosophy is of the head coach. Hey, we're going to get 11 hats to the ball. We're going to play with leverage. We're going to play fast. We're going to hit you in the mouth when we get there. That's what you saw all game long. And they got the people, they got the horses to where, they can be a dominant defense. And to me, they're going to be the best defense in the league. They got the horses to do that. You stay healthy. That's what you're going to see all year long.
I'm going to echo what we all know here. This team is going to get to an AFC title game because their defense is absolutely lights out and the offense is not turning over the football. They don't have to be a top 5, top 8 scoring offense. They just have to be potent enough, be efficient on third down, red zone, situationally, the 2-minute drill, how you end the half, how you end the third quarter, or coming out to start the third quarter, things of that nature. So I trust that D'Amico, that is spending more time on the offensive side of the ball, they'll get the game management stuff. We know Frank Ross is going to have his special teams unit ready to go. Really appreciated what I saw from not just Braxton Berrios. Again, this is now 2 weeks in the return game from Braxton Berrios. Yeah. How about Jalen Noel going back there, showing some promise in the return game? Really like what I saw from Jalen Noel. And you could see
from where?
Iowa State. Yeah, Iowa State. Big 12. Yeah.
What about the 14-yard? We were talking about the offense. What about the 14-yard?
I mentioned that. Was that in my opening soliloquy.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay Nicholas. I mentioned that. It was a highlight grab. But swinging things on the ground, this defense. This is how they're going to get this done. Now, for the record, and anybody that has watched this program know, I disagree with being a defensive-minded first team. And I get it, the personality, the head coach, and all that. I would appreciate more energy on the offense side, but we'll do that another show. Right now, tonight, this defense, they're in regular season form. Like, it was clear that defensive line, that front, ready to roll. Stingley looking like Stingley. He picked off a pass that was intended for Ted McMillan on Thursday during the joint practice. He got beat in kind of a matchup zone concept, and they caught him on the deep over from Ted McMillan. But Stingley's going to win more than his fair share of situations. The only thing that I could really nitpick, and I'm talking about from that first group, we'll get to some reserves in a little bit. I thought Azeez, who's been working on his pass coverage, regular season, I love to see Azeez come up with that interception. He was right there. He had put the clamps down on the man. He was right there past defense. Those have to be takeaways. They have to be opportunistic from where this defense wants to go. Henry Toto, forced fumble, came right back and had a sack. You talked about D'Angelo Ross had a drop, which would have been a pick six later on into the game. And you mentioned the interception by Jalen Smith. They call him J-Rock. So that's all I can say is catch the ball when the ball is thrown to your linebackers and DBs.
Wade, I got a question for you, man, if you don't mind. When you watch a player like Will Anderson Jr., who does, I think, a phenomenal job of setting the edge, like doesn't over pursue, doesn't play out of his lane, doesn't play into a bad assignment. What from an offensive lineman perspective, what should fans know about how he impacts the game? Because when I see him get after the quarterback, that's phenomenal. But I think his best attribute may just be a great run defender, because he does a great job of just being where he needs to be all the time consistently.
Yeah, he's a 3 down, 4 down guy. He's a guy he's going to handle his business on first and second down, set the edge, stop the run. And then he's going to get after the quarterback on third down when you need him to. And the cool thing, what I've seen about Will Anderson today, is him playing that physical in the run game from a 2-point stance. Like, a lot of time you don't see that. And there was one time they lined up with 3 defensive linemen to the left, and he was by himself to the right, kind of wide.
Was that like a wide? It was a wide nine.
He's a wide 9, but he's the overhang player.
But he's in a 2-point stance, and so that can get kind of tricky. He can drop if he wants to. He can hit it, but he hit it. But he's also being physical in the run game. That's kind of it can get demoralizing when you got a guy in a 2-point stance that's that physical, that can control you at the line of scrimmage like that. And that's what you consistently see out of Will Anderson. That's what makes him the most important person on this defense. He is the captain of the defense. He is the guy that leads this franchise. He's a franchise guy, and they drafted 2 of them on the same night a couple years back. And so that just shows how strong he is, how hard he works. You saw what he did this offseason where he was working with Myles Garrett. Those things are translating on the field, and it was good to see him out there today, just switching it up. Sometimes he would shift down late and laten them down in scrimmage, getting in a 3-point stance.
Yeah, he made the play on that one too.
Yeah, he made the play on that. He controlled the guy, got rid of him, came off, made the tackle. Like, teams are going to consistently try to figure out where he's at and try to send multiple people at him, or just try to run away from him. But if he can still control the line of scrimmage, doing multiple things, line up at multiple spots, it'll make it difficult for offenses to try to hone in on him. And then he's got so much help around him that everybody's going to eat.
Yeah. I want to get a little piece of this action. A former edge defender, built, at my peak, I looked physically like Will Anderson. I wasn't that good. Or
we need to see pictures now.
I have some of them accolades like Wade Smith has, but in all seriousness, I understand the technique and what he's being asked to do. The term that I want to bring to the conversation is run fit. He understands where his target is, whether he's lined up in the 2-point or 3-point, and he understands hand placement. And we like to put hard things, hands on soft objects from the offensive line. I understand Wade knows this terminology, where you want to shock a guy. Will is not an extremely long-armed athlete. This isn't, he's got good length, but it's not like that's his number one attribute. He has a high motor. He has a desire to go physically down in there. And we used to call it put your face in the fan and be a hammer, not the nail. And he wants to be a part of it. A lot of defense, John, you know this, MCU too. A lot of defense is just effort. You just have to want to be physical, down in, down out, and Will is built for it. He has all the requisite pieces around him to help, but he also knows how to be efficient. And then the last thing I'll add, what I've learned about, for sure, what I love is he has grown into his body. I heard him say there were points last year where he was too heavy. Getting up in the 260s, he thought was a little bit too much for him and a lot to handle. He likes being in those high 50s. Mid to high 50s is where he needs to play. And we've seen guys that, going back to Wade's point, to close at a 2-point stance, look how impactful in the run game. tackles for loss, forced fumbles, plays behind the line of scrimmage. You think about Von Miller, you think about TJ Watt. Those are just a couple guys that come to mind that weren't stupid, long athletes or stupid big. They're not built like Jadeveon, but they still got busy and made plays at the point of attack.
And we're mentioning all this and not even mentioning the other guy on the other side of the ball that does the exact same thing as him. Yeah,
who, by the way, talked about how he worked on this whole summer being a better run defender. So you look at two guys that can set that edge and force a lot of that back inside to those linebackers. Of course, Foley Fadakowski, when he gets out on the field, Tim Settle, Mario Edwards, who was there to clean up on the sack, and how deep that linebacker room is. That's gonna be trouble for some offenses, man. They gonna be in hell. They're gonna be in swarm hell.
Yeah, like that's a good point, John. And I'm sorry, MC. We can dip out whenever. But like, wait, real quick, because you want to play offense of this group here. Like, if you're scheming up against the Texans, like obviously you want to try and run the ball, but how do you run the ball? Like, I'm uncomfortable running at the edges because they're like this team
right there already. They gonna suck you back in.
So I don't understand. What would you do, Wade, to attack the Texans? Obviously, the Carolina Panthers couldn't do it today. They shut down Bryce Young. Chuba Hubbard couldn't get going. Carolina had literally no offense today. That's why we're not talking about the offense.
Well, you saw what the Ravens did last year. They did a lot of wham plays. They did a lot of plays where they used the aggression of the defensive line against the Texans, and we saw that be effective. To me, that's the blueprint of how you handle a defense like this. If you try to, hey, I'm just going to line up and mash them, they're physical up front, and they're going to come off the ball, and they're going to penetrate, and they're going to cause issues. But there's things that you could do to use their penetrating nature against them, and we saw that that's what the Ravens did. So if we were lining up against them, if the team that I'm on, I could see us seeing that tape and say that's what we're going to do. So that team is on the schedule this year as well. So they're going to have to come up with something different to be able to handle that Derrick Henry coming downhill on those wham type plays, and they struggled with that mightily. So to me, that's the way. Now, can everybody execute that? Does everybody have the offensive line that the Ravens have and have Derrick Henry and have Lamar Jackson? No, there's only one team that has that. But I'm sure that's what some of these teams are going to try to do to take advantage of how aggressive
Buffalo,
they are.
Detroit,
to do that.
Yeah, and we'll get a look at Detroit coming up this week when they play, even though it won't be the players that are the starters out there in that one. Let's talk about some of the battles, and I have another question for you guys to kick off the next segment. We'll do that here in just a moment. Locked on Texans Squad Show. Well, you know what time it is. Football time. We just watched a football game, and this episode is brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy. It's the best time of the year. The NFL kickoff is almost here, and that means fantasy football season is back in full swing. And this year, Yahoo Fantasy is turning things up with a fantasy football experience like never before. Get in on the action right now because, well, why wouldn't you? Go start a league. Start a league with your friends. Join a public league. Whatever it is, Yahoo Fantasy's got it for you. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy football greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days throughout August. To kick off, they've just dropped the Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine Leagues, a killer new way to play fantasy football on Yahoo where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated each week until there's one team left standing. With the season around the corner, now's the time to get your league together to give this new mode a try. If you're more into the classics, well, they've got that for you too. You can still play head-to-head private leagues or join a public league. Stay tuned for more killer announcements and start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. Squad Show continues on a Saturday afternoon after a Texans victory, 20-3. Thank you for joining us, all of you that are watching live. Of course, you want to listen to this show in its audio form wherever you get your podcast. You can also check out John, who hosts the Daily Locked On Texans podcast to supplement your life. We'll be back for the Squad Show on Tuesday. Stan, John, and I for that. Hopefully, getting you guys ready for a week that might not matter all that. I shouldn't say it's not going to matter. It matters for a lot of guys. I don't want to be that guy.
It's not going to be that matter for Juice Scruggs.
Going to matter for him. Hey, one guy also that is going to matter for that made a play today. Actually, he's a guy that we talked about on some of those shows a few months ago. Guys, Damon Arnett made a play today.
He did.
So yeah,
got to hold on to the football.
Yeah, but look, made a play.
Hold on to the ball, young man.
Was that Sunbeam, or was that what kind of loaf of bread he was carrying that ball like?
Sourdough.
What's it?
That's that nature zone. That whole week you got to make sure, because you
paid the keto bread. What was that, Ezekiel? What was that?
You paid $8.50, $8.95 for that bread, so you got to hold that thing tight.
You guys ever tried keto bread, by the way?
I have.
It's like cardboard. It's literally like cardboard.
You have to toast it. You have to
toast it. I think it's worse toasted. It's worse. My wife bought it recently. I go, what is this? This is crap.
Keto bread?
You might have to change up the brand, man. Sometimes it's a brand.
Sometimes it is the brand.
There's some brands of turkey bacon that's trash, but there's some brands of turkey bacon.
Good call by you. I'm a big turkey bacon guy.
I love turkey bacon. Shout out to
turkey bacon that's good. It's probably actual bacon. You guys just think it's turkey bacon.
Nah.
Shout out to HEB. They got the best turkey bacon brand.
Oh man, now I'm hungry. I was already hungry when we started this show. I ate a PB&J right before, but I'm hungry again. I had a question to start this segment. Which line had the better day today, in your opinion? The offensive line?
Offensive
line.
Defensive
line?
Offensive line. Why? Sometimes we got to look at, where we judge a group on based off of where we know that they are. So in terms of like expectations, in my opinion, right? We know that their D-line going to cause hell, man. Come on, Stan. That was a play, the play where C.J. Stroud had, he ended up sliding. This is when they got down to the red zone. It looked like CJ ain't know what to do with all that time. Come on, man. So, like, when I'm looking at when we say who has a better line, I'm only going based off of the projected first team guys without Titus Howard out there, and I thought Blake Fisher did well on the day. I gotta lean towards the offensive line.
I'm gonna push back on the O-line, Wade. To me, it's always relative. When you say better, it means, okay, relative to what? Yes, everything that John just said, especially without Titus. With Blake Fisher being out there for a bulk of the game before he left getting nicked up. But they were going against a bad Panthers team, at least that front. There are not a lot of dogs on that front. Derek Brown, we saw what Case Stover did to him on Thursday. So, like, okay, that Brown's still a hell of a player, let me be clear. But it's not like they were going up against some of the premier interior edge defenders. On the other side, that defensive line, I expect them to absolutely wipe the floor with everybody they face, not named Baltimore, Philadelphia, like some of the elite lines, and they should be able to hold their own there. So if you're going to play relative, I think the defense was dominant against at least a decent Carolina offensive line.
It's a tough call for me because I look
at it and
see that the defensive line, a lot of times when the Panthers were making a big play, there was a penalty because they were cheating. They grabbing guys, and so Tim Settles, he's causing a penalty. I think Mario Edwards got held one time too, and then they forced sacks, got after the quarterback, did a good job in the run game, but an example of like the offensive line, first play Davis Mills is out there. He fumbles the snap, runs it for 4 yards untouched.
Jake Andrews needs to get the snap right.
No, don't you do that. Don't you do that.
Even on Woody Marks' 12-yard run, they fumbled that exchange. They bobbled that exchange too. Now, I'm going to say that's on Davis Mills. No offense, but there was no issues with CJ. But as soon as Davis Mills got in the game, there was 2 times that there was a little issue with the exchange there. Yeah. But they still, on the one play, they get 4 yards, and the other play, they get 12 yards. So the offensive line must have been doing something right. They were moving that line of scrimmage, and the tight ends are moving that line of scrimmage. So I'm gonna break the tie. This is not being biased because I'm pointing out
it is.
They got to handle that snap situation because you can't keep doing that. But I'm going to give it to the offensive line. I think the offensive line did a hell of a job today. The quarterback stayed clean.
No, he didn't. They sacked CJ one time. What's up with the sack?
When was this?
Roseboom got him. At least in the stat book, they say Roseboom got him.
I do want to add to this, man. Last week, we were extremely excited about the performance from the rookie Ariante Arcery. Did another good job this week, right? But maybe you look at the matchup between Arcery and Dallas Turner, and because Dallas Turner is a name, you kind of get that nod to the offensive line. So this week, the name across the Panthers defensive line is Derek Brown, who is a hell of a defensive tackle, and to see Jake Andrews, who, as Stan loves to point out in the past, one game he's played in the NFL.
One start, 2 years.
Yeah, so, but to see how he handled that, and also just to see that not only he handled it, he made the jobs for Ingram and Thomason a lot easier as well. I think that's the main reason why I'm looking at why I'm giving it to the offensive line. It started from the middle this time on out compared to last week. It started from the outside on in. It got to be the IOL, man. Zeros across the board for Derek Brown in his snaps. That's very important.
And you know what? I think I'm with the offensive line crew here today. You want to know why? Because it felt like, and they made the comment, and I can't remember if it was Indy Kalu or John Harris that made it on the broadcast on TV, that look at how the offense, the line of scrimmage is moving. Did it move like that last year? I know it was a very
second level.
It just didn't move like that last year. So
I can't say it because y'all gonna tell me I'm being a hater.
Say it.
I'm not.
We're not gonna say the comments gonna tell you.
There's not a single player in the Panthers front seven that's going to the Pro Bowl. Not one. Wait, you got to play the guys that's across from you. I get it.
It's not their fault.
But the question is,
last week, did it look the same way last week?
Yeah, it looked pretty good last week.
It looked the same way last week, and it looked this way this week, right? So we can only go off what we see. You can only go off what you see. This is this year, this iteration of the offensive line. They look good.
Without Titus, and you know what? That's gonna break the tie for me.
Yeah,
they
Titus
did that
without
Titus.
What are you
talking about? They didn't have Titus last week either. So to do that without Titus, and I get it. The NFL, the parity from roster to roster is not as wide as some of those final outcomes from a schedule standpoint. But at the end of the day, I kept looking at this going, man, Carolina just does not have enough players. I mean, the Texans B team, I'm talking about front seven, with Danico Archery healthy and Foley Fatukasi healthy and Christian Harris and EJ Speed. You could take the Texans back up, front seven, and the majority of those men will start for Carolina right now. That's what we're dealing with.
I don't disagree on that.
Oh, wait, I found it. 2nd and goal at the Carolina 456.
It was the play that he busted, right? It was the play where he ran around and then just he slid down. So they gave it.
He gave himself up, and they gave him kind of as a sack,
which was smart.
He wasn't pressured. There was some type of.
Oh no, it's fair point. But
it was
my thing is when I see guys come free and I see the quarterback get hit, that's a problem. And I haven't seen that this year yet in either one of these games. So that is a good sign.
Well, so we've seen it has been in practice.
Oh, right. So we can put to bed this Ariante Ursary playing right tackle today, left tackle tomorrow, back to right tackle. Can we?
Did you hear the broadcast? He told the broadcast crew that he's fine playing either one of them.
I don't give a damn what he said. I watched the games. The bottom line is he's an All-American left tackle. His future. Wade, tell the man there's a difference. This left tackle money is a little different. That's why Larry Tunsil is over there talking about left tackle. The man is a left tackle. Can we leave him over there? And y'all ready for this? And I want to ask Wade, you know what? Wade, if Cam Robinson comes back healthy, he's guaranteed $12 million. Yeah. Do you start Cam Robinson or do you leave Ariante Ursary in there? What do you do?
It's a good question. Is Titus healthy?
Titus is healthy. Healthy. What do you do?
If Titus is healthy, I'm going to be honest with you. Because what I've seen out of Ursary, I just like his demeanor. I like the way he plays the game. I like the way he approaches it. I know Cam is getting paid $12 million, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, I want the best guy out there. And if I got a younger guy that is playing better than the older guy, I want the guy out there that's playing the best. And then it's a bonus that he's young because he's going to do nothing but get better. His ceiling is that much higher. So if that's the scenario and Titus is healthy and he's playing right tackle, Eddie Ingram, to me, has solidified his spot at right guard. He's played well in the opportunity that he's got out there. And so if you got Ingram at right guard and you got Titus at right tackle, I think it solidifies that spot at the right tackle spot. Lakin came in and played well. in this game that he played. And I think Jake Andrews and it was funny that y'all mentioned, I guess, John and Stan, y'all have been going back and forth on this Patterson and Andrews thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mentioned that last week on the show. My first thing is, like, once Andrew came here, I thought he was going to be the starter just based off of his history with the New England system and Popovich and the play style that he had. And then based off of the fact that Patterson, I just thought he struggled last year. He was part of the reasons why he was one of the reasons that I thought that the offensive line struggled last year. And it was across the board, but he was one of those guys as well. I thought Andrews was going to be the starter, and that's what has happened. And so to me, that front five where you have a Ursery, who was a rookie, then you got a veteran right next to him in Lakin, you got Andrews, and then you got Ed Ingram, and then Titus Howard. I think that's solid. There was a guy who's going to all come off the ball, hit people in the mouth, and then you got Titus Howard. I think is the best pass protecting right tackle on the team. I think that would be the way to go for the offensive line for the Texans.
So you will start Ursery, okay?
Yeah, I would start. Yeah. I get it. Some people make decisions for money decisions, political decisions, whatever. I need the best guys out there. And
I think that's probably where Houston is right now, too. The best guy is the best guy.
I don't know that Cam Robinson is the best guy based off of what I've seen this year, based off of what I saw last year in Jacksonville, where he was okay at times, he was struggled at other times. He has a better track record over a period of time. He's been a successful offensive lineman in this league, no question about that. But Ursery is playing well right now, and he's getting better. I haven't seen any drop off, any of that tough stuff.
No,
so
he's the
go ahead
same
and play.
Sure.
Yeah, so go ahead and play.
Listen, I would probably, if Cam is healthy, I would start with Cam. So at the Rams week 1, I would trot out Cam first. And then depending on how it looked as we work our way through the schedule, I would work Ursery into that spot. I think, depending on Cam's health, I think week 1, I think Cam Robinson will be the left tackle.
Even though he hasn't been practicing, and you're going to throw him out there the first week against
Ursery starting week 1.
Like those guys.
I said, if he's healthy,
against Laos.
If he's healthy, I think they put Cam out.
If he's healthy, he hasn't practiced in how long?
Like Larry Tunsil practices.
Yeah, but he's not Larry
Tunsil and Cam Robinson, not the same guy.
But you're missing.
And this is two different regimes, man.
Not practicing. He wasn't unhealthy and not practicing. He was healthy and not practicing because he was kind of on a pitch count. He is, arguably the best pass blocking left tackle.
I didn't say the man's ability. I said guys that have played a lot of football, like Cam has played.
Right.
How much practice does he really need to get ready to go play the left tackle?
I think he needs a lot.
Cam needs practice.
He's not going to your timing, snap count, all that stuff on the road. All of those things come into play. And if you ain't been out there, that will play into it. I just think Ursery's been out there. He's been doing it. And he's doing it at a high level. Play the rookie. That's just me.
Team rookie, baby. Let's go. All of them. Starting day 1. Hey, let's take a little bit of a look ahead to the final week of the preseason. And I have a very serious problem that I have to address with you guys here in a brief second on the Locked On Texans Squad show. We roll on for a few more minutes. Michael Connor, Wade Smith, Stan Norfleet, John Hickman. Thank you for being with us today. A lot of you watching live. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. And come back and watch us after every single game. Now, guys, we have a serious problem to address. I'm going to put something up on the screen here. So you're going to get our faces going for a second. I want you to tell me what you see here. What do you see?
Come on, man.
Seattle Mariners people need to get off this.
Is that real?
Man.
That's from today.
Is that real?
That is not AI.
That's post game today.
That's not AI.
That happened 20 minutes ago. We got a problem, right? Now, he was asked about it, and he said, it's about swag. I'm sorry, it wasn't about the Astros. I don't root for the Mariners. I root for the Astros and the Dodgers. But come on, man. What are we doing, CJ? You had a good day today. You can't go up there wearing that hat.
I'm going to shoot him some bail. This is why I'm going to shoot him some bail. He's in the middle of training camp. He's not realizing that the Astros and the Mariners are in a dead heat in the American League West. And so he ain't paying attention to the fact that how incendiary I think that probably is for you to be wearing that had some, I'm gonna shoot him some bell. I'm gonna say he probably not gonna ever wear it again. But these kids today, man, they all about looking a certain way, and you got people that'll wear a Texas hat, like a Texas Rangers hat, just because it got the T on there because it looked good. There'd be people out there wearing stuff like that in California because it looked good, or people down there in Houston would wear the T just because the T looked good. So it don't necessarily mean that you represent that team. But I'm gonna shoot him some bail and say, don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I wouldn't advise it, but I think he's been knee deep in training camp and he ain't been paying attention to what's going on in the American League West.
Man, it don't matter, man. I mean, if it was a Dallas Cowboy hat, maybe a different conversation, but come on, man. I saw the uprising on it, the uproar on it.
I saw it I saw it too, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna grab the screenshot. Bring this up real quick.
Sometimes, man, crazy stuff be going on. Maybe he got a homie that's playing in Seattle.
No, he just said it's about the swag.
It's about swag.
Yeah, he says about what he was wearing. Yeah, he literally said it.
Got the S on there. Got swag.
Look, if I was his agent or his man's, like you got the homies that's around. Somebody in the room got to be like, dog, you sure about this one? Because somebody is going to say
if
something.
They know. So I mean, how much of a baseball guy is C.J. Stroud really?
He knows ball.
He throws
that
his
first game
recently. I know he's throwing out the
the way he said he's locked in right now. He's been in the Greenbrier.
When they interviewed him on the broadcast that night, he kept up with what was going on. He had an idea.
So it doesn't bother me. I care about him being 75% completion percentage like he was today. He keep doing that. He can wear whatever. He can wear that same Mariners hat every bleeping game, and I wouldn't give a damn. He keep out there 75%, and they keep him clean. I'm good.
He can still do it if the Mariners win the American League West. He can still do it then.
Is he 75%?
Yeah.
I wouldn't care.
I wouldn't care.
Okay, cool.
Hey,
it's a football town. It's a football town.
Wait, you know how many people have told us on the radio they would trade one of the Astros World Series for the Texans to have one?
This is Texas.
I hear it all the time.
Already.
Yeah, I don't care.
I wouldn't. I love football, but I wouldn't do that. And that'd be.
Hey, MC,
now if it was a in San Antonio Spurs hat, I'd have some personal feelings. Or maybe
that'd be bad.
Love the Rockets. We'll give it. If the quarterback of this town is comfortable, that's all I care about. I need him balling. Period.
Yeah, he needs the ball. Hey, speaking of balling, they got one more week of preseason. Now, this is an important week, guys, because we're getting down to the very end of it. What are y'all looking forward in this last game against Detroit? They're gonna have a joint practice this week, of course, up there in Detroit as well, wherever they're trained. Position-wise, position battles. Camp, what are we looking forward to the most in the final week of the preseason here?
I got to be honest, man. I care about health. I'm plain and simple. I care about health. I know that there's position battles and there's guys that are fighting for the 7th and 8th and 9th spot on the defensive line and the 9th and 10th spot on the offensive line and the 6th receiver and the 8th or 9th DB, all of these spots. To me, the roster is pretty well set in most spots. I mean, you got the battle for the 3rd or 4th tight end, the 5th or 6th running back. All of those are open for grabs. Maybe the returner spot, there might be a question there. But I just want everybody that you need on game 1 against the Rams. I need all those guys to be healthy. Health is going to be the name of the game for this season, for this roster. I want guys to come out of this thing healthy. And that's what I care about the most over the next, week and a half, 2 weeks.
Cool. Cut down day is August 26th, I think.
26, 27, something like that.
One of those days they got to go from 90 to 53. That's a new NFL rule that kicked off. What was it, 2 years ago now?
A couple years ago, yeah. One major cut.
Which I kind of hate, honestly. But for me, I said this early on the week on the Locked On podcast, Texan podcast on the Squad Show. Running backs don't get paid to pass protect. While that is a great attribute, they get paid to run the ball, right? And running the ball and getting paid sometimes is getting those carries. Shout out to Woody Mark, 7 carries, 40 yards, 5.7 yards per carry, along on 12 on the day. I just want to see those young backs continue to get those carries. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of RB2 and how the room is going to round itself out. Don't know what pecking order is going to look like, but I want to see those young guys continue to show that they are reliable. And I thought that Woody Marks did a good job of showing his value to this team today in terms of being able to run the ball. Every time we talk about him is, he can pass catch, he can catch the ball out the backfield, which is great. But 7 carries, 40 yards, without Titus out there, I thought that was impressive. So I want to continue to see him build off of that. D'Amico Ryan says all the time, stack good days, and I wanted to see him continue to stack good days.
Yeah, Woody Marks was definitely one of the names that I had highlighted. He had back-to-back carries in the second quarter, 1 for 12 yards, came right back with another 7-yard, I do believe, or vice versa, but it was back-to-back runs, and it was the style of run. It wasn't let me do the Saturday thing where I can outrun dudes. It was I'm gonna put a foot in the ground, I'm gonna press the line of scrimmage, and I'm gonna get up in here and get what I can get. I'm gonna keep my legs moving. I'm gonna trust in the offensive line, and I'm gonna protect the football most importantly. So this was the best I've seen of Woody Marks. This was the best I've seen of Nick Chubb. I really wasn't that impressed with Jawar Jordan. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know that I got him as making the team as of yet. I was happy to see British Brooks get down there in the red zone late in the ball game and get that touchdown in a real physical fashion. This thing is going to start being a numbers game. Do you keep 5 running backs, including the fullback, and we only going to go with 2 tight ends or 3 tight ends and 9 offensive linemen versus 7 receivers, including the returners? I mean, it starts to be that dynamic. But in terms of what I'm looking for, I personally see more value in this week's joint practice up in Detroit or Michigan, wherever they at, because of who it's against. This is another team. This is their weight class. The Detroit Lions are hovering around the same space to where the Texans are. So, and their roster is more developed and more robust with talent. So I think this gives them a greater opportunity to get better. I punctuate what Wade is saying from a health standpoint. And to me, EJ Speed, keep doing what you do. J-Rock, Jalen Smith, keep doing what you do. We didn't bring this guy's name up, and it needs to be mentioned. It looks like they're going to give the ball to MJ Stewart in terms of starting alongside Kalen Bullock at that safety spot. I saw MJ Stewart out there running around a little bit. Are we comfortable with MJ Stewart out there if they had to go play the Rams tomorrow?
Yes. They got them guys up front that's going to make their jobs a lot easier anyway. So I think he's been here for another year. This is second year system, knows the system. He's the best option right now. And I think that's the best way to go.
I like the Jalen Mills pickup, though. Go ahead, Wade. You good with MJ Stewart back there with Bullock?
We got to be. We got to be. There's no other options, really. You know what I mean? They brought in Reed. They got some guys that they might give opportunities to, but MJ has been here. He knows this defense, front and back. I feel like he's had opportunities to make plays. He's in places where he needs to be. And so I think they'll be fine with him in that spot. And it'll be interesting to see how quickly CJ Gardner-Johnson comes back from his injury, if it's going to be anytime soon or not. I don't know if I didn't see anything of a timeline on when he's supposed to be back, but hopefully he's back sooner than later, because then he just takes the defense and how good it is to another level. So, but in the meantime, MJ is going to have opportunity to make plays, because that's the way this defense is set up. There's opportunities all over the place to make plays. Like John mentioned, the pass rush is going to get there and force errant passes. They're going to not want to throw at certain people, because you see what happened. They threw twice at Sting. One time it was picked off. The other time it was a PBU. So they're going to try to stay away from him. And because of that, Lassiter gets great opportunities, and he makes a lot of plays when they throw it at him as well. So those safeties they're going to try to find the weak link in his defense, and there's not many of them. He's probably somebody they're going to look at and target. So he's going to have opportunities to make plays.
CJ Gardner-Johnson was spotted at the Texans joint practice on Thursday. No brace on that knee, just a sleeve, which was a good sign. And he seemed to be in good spirits from all the reports. So I think we'll see CJ GJ sooner rather than later. Can I also add one other thing, MC?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm nervous about Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce is not in position to take advantage of an opportunity that's right there for him. And in terms of making the 53, I grow more concerned by the day, to be honest.
Do you think they might try to stash him?
How?
I don't think they can.
How? You gonna put him on the pup to return?
Yeah, like an IR to return, something like that.
You could designate him to return. You can do
because
that.
the thing about this offense and the way that they're blocking things up front, this fits what he can do very well.
I agree.
Like, and so I don't know. To me, that would be a smart move, especially, you know, Nick Chubb, I think, fits this offense as well. But is he, like, how long is he going to stay healthy? You know, it's kind of like an insurance policy. I think if after 6 weeks or whatever it is, I thought they changed the rules. Seem like every year.
I think you got to miss at least the first 4 games or miss
first
4
4
games.
now. Okay, so, you know, if Nick Chubb is continuing to improve and getting back to his old self, then maybe, you know, Dameon Pierce's opportunity goes away. But if that's not the case, then maybe he does have opportunity down the road. But stashing him for the meantime, I think that might be a smart move. It's what you call you don't know what you're going to have with Mixon. We don't know. We don't know if he's going to be ready week 1 or if he's going to be ready week 10. We just don't know. So I think keeping Dameon Pierce around, I think you're going to have an idea of what's going to happen with Mixon and how they feel about Chubb based off of what they do with Pierce. Because I think Woody Marks has shown that he can play at a high level. He's going to be on the roster. He was just drafted. And he's shown that he should have been drafted and probably drafted earlier than when he was. But I just think Dameon Pierce fits this offense perfectly for what they're doing, running a lot of duo, getting downhill, a lot of double teams at the point of attack. That fits what he does. And so I would love for him to have the opportunity. And I get why you say he's not there to kind of take this opportunity in, because this is a perfect fit for him.
One more name, MC. I wish I would have seen more from John Mechie today. The ops just weren't there, and it just didn't happen. I understand that he had a good week of practice. This may be, in all seriousness, because he's looking for a contract extension, or he could be auditioning for somebody else. This upcoming week, going into the joint practice in Detroit and into the game, this could be arguably the most important week in John Mechie's football career. I mean,
they were saying he was talking to Bryce Young, saying, "Come get me."
Well, Wade said it last week, trade bait.
Yeah, to me, he has raised his profile based off of how he played last preseason game. Like you've been mentioning, he's been practicing well all week. He's practicing against another team, and they're seeing, and you just look at the wide receiver room, and to me, it just makes a lot of sense that he fits on an NFL roster, but it just might not be this Texans roster based off of who they drafted, based off of those guys and how they've played and who they have on this team. But the better he plays, it's just better for the Texans organization because what they're going to get back in compensation.
That's why I end up. I don't think they're going to get enough back that justify not having the insurance of a John Mechie. Nico, Kirk, 2 rookies. Justin Watson has been nicked. Barrios is coming off of ACL. Like, there's just been enough either inexperience or injuries around that room that if you can have somebody that's in-house that knows the system and is comfortable with the quarterback and the personnel, I have Mechie making it, but I wish he had done something today to make us all go, okay, that just checks the eye test. Wade, you know this. Guys can have an excellent week of practice, including the joint practice. And coaches just want to see that one little bit in the actual game to solidify it. And not showing up doesn't completely negate what happened all week. It just doesn't give the coaches and the scouts that warm and fuzzy to go ahead and stamp it. I got him making it, but y'all bring up great points.
Roll Tide. That's all I got to say because my wife wants him to make the team. Her Alabama self. So another week down, another week closer to actual football, guys. It was a great, quick hour as always. We appreciate everyone again watching us here today live. Don't forget, we're live Tuesdays as well. We'll be here 6 p.m. Talking all things Houston Texans, getting ready for that final stretch of the preseason, then back again next weekend when they play the Detroit Lions. We hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday afternoon. Again, we'll talk Tuesday, Texans Squad.